Rick Grenell, back when he was working at the United Nations, had very senior positions there. He later went on to serve as ambassador to Germany and director of national intelligence. Happens to be very close with the president. Here they are. This looks like actually it's on Marine One, the president's helicopter, probably the most exclusive spot in the world. Heck, 747 can carry a couple hundred people. The president's helicopter, just a few. Rick Grenell, the ambassador, joins us from Palm Springs, California. Rick, ambassador, Mr. Director, what title do you prefer these days? Don't say just Rick.
Greg, I'm going to make you call me Rick.
I asked you not to say that, but okay. All right, Rick, welcome. Listen, you know so much. You know our nation's secrets. Acting Director of National Intelligence. It's pretty scary to think about what you know, and I know you can't say everything you know, but I would like to know as much as you can say about what appears to have been an extremely corrupt investigation into President-elect Trump, candidate Trump, and now President Trump by Director Comey, Mueller, and the rest. You know who I'm talking about. Got some sound from Washington we'll play in a moment, but this seems to be getting, it's something big is about to happen.
Yeah, look, Greg, let's just step back for a second. We used to call what the Russians did to us and what the Russians did to countries around the world, we used to call it propaganda. And the reason we called it propaganda is because everybody would immediately know what that meant. They would take a little piece of information and they would exploit it, and they would make the whole situation wrong. They would create a false narrative. And the public knows exactly what Russian propaganda is. We are very accustomed to it. This is exactly what the Russians have been doing and what they did in the 2016 election. They did what they always do, which is push Russian propaganda. The difference this time is that our media decided to remove the word propaganda, and they decided to say that the Russians did something to our elections. Well, what the Russians did is exactly what they always do. They push out false information and they try to get us to fight amongst each other. They used a little bit of money and they distorted a whole media narrative and a media campaign for the 2016 elections. The media actually ran with the Russian propaganda and pretended like it was something more than what it was. I think people across this country know exactly what Russian propaganda is. When we see people on social media, and make no mistake, what the Russians largely did, if not exclusively, was on social media try to inflame our debate amongst each other. This is what they always do, and they've utilized social media in a big way. The reason I'm saying all of that is because we now have this boogeyman theory that was pushed by the Obama team and largely by DOJ and by the FBI. They knew that Russian propaganda had infiltrated what we call the Steele dossier. From the very beginning, the Russians knew what the authors of the Steele dossier were doing and what they were compiling. So the Russians did what they always do, which is give false information. The difference is, this time the Steele dossier team picked it up and thought it was truth, and they started pushing it. But we had a number of people inside DOJ and inside the FBI that came clean early on in this investigation and said, this seems like Russian propaganda. This doesn't seem real. Those voices were pushed aside, and now what we're figuring out is that there were red flags early on that the leaders of the FBI and the leaders of DOJ and the leaders at the NSC, including Susan Rice, knew was Russian propaganda, but they made it out to be something different about an election, and now they're getting caught.
Got it. And yeah, at first I thought you were going to say, oh, we innocently fell for it, which did not happen. This was interesting from Sally Yates, former Deputy Attorney General, then Acting Attorney General. She was in the room when some of this stuff was hatched, and she tried to put it on Comey. And I want to get your reaction to that, but let's play what happened today.
You didn't authorize the interview. As a matter of fact, you wanted to go to the White House and tell them about the problem, didn't you?
That's right. I did. I thought that was the more immediate issue.
And
that needed to be addressed.
when you heard about the interview, you got upset, didn't you?
I was upset that Director Comey didn't coordinate that with us and acted unilaterally. Yes, I was.
Okay. Did Comey go rogue?
You could use that term, yes.
Finally.
All right. Number one, she shouldn't be testifying from home. I mean, that's like not in the hot seat. But did Comey go rogue? And she said, yeah, she agreed with that. But that's not my sense of what happened here, because all the principals were in the room together. And I don't think Comey went out on his own to do much of anything. He was in cahoots with top administration officials,
including Susan Rice, who said that they did everything by the book. She knew, Sally Yates knew. All of this was known, Greg, because it wasn't just an all of a sudden aha moment. This has been building in the Obama-Biden administration for months, if not more than a year. I have to say that every American should be troubled that after Donald Trump is elected president in 2016 and launches into the peaceful transition of power to coordinate with the Obama White House, just like the Obama White House coordinated with the Bush White House for a peaceful transition of power. I'll tell you what happened. Susan Rice led a team of people at the NSC who became even more focused on bringing down the Donald Trump administration before it even started. Yeah. We see a whole bunch of conversations pick up. We see the unmasking process pick up during the transition period when they should have been handing over files to do a peaceful transition of power. They upped the ante and they went after the Trump administration. Susan Rice's tenure for her entire career can be summed up by saying lying and spying. This is exactly what she did. And somebody is going to have to answer for these questions. And I'm glad Senator Graham is trying to get to the bottom of it.
Very briefly, I heard the president say last night that Durham, the investigator, the U.S. attorney, he knows stuff that will take your breath away, that this is going to blow wide open. Are you hearing the same thing?
Look, I'm not going to speculate on what I'm hearing. This is the ways of Washington, and people who are there currently are going to clearly know more than I know. I'm going to step back and I'm just going to wait and see what the Durham investigation comes out with. I will say this, the Durham team is extremely thorough.
Okay, that sounds very intriguing. Rick Grenell, we appreciate it. Many thanks, okay?
Thank you so much, Greg.
All right, take care now.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.